Hey guys, we have an announcement in the news for the free-to-play Blue Android 21. Well, the event's coming back, and she seems to be getting a Zenkai Awakening. So this was something that's actually pretty surprising to me. Number one, this event hasn't returned in 11 months. I believe this came out Valentine's Day last year, and that was 11 months ago. So I wasn't even sure if this event was ever going to come back at all. Just due to various licensing issues that I know that they have with Fighters, because technically Android 21 is from Fighters, and they just brought back the Kakarot Goku event, so I was a little hesitant to expect them to bring this back, especially right after that. But it looks like this is going to be permanently available, because it says scheduled event period. It's just from 1/20/2021 forever. Because this is the start date, and there's no end date. And when there's no end date, it looks like this event's just going to be permanently available. I don't believe they have the details for the character yet. It's not in the news, and I guess what will happen is, so this video is going up on the 17th. The data download for 21 should come out literally on the 19th, right? So that is Tuesday. Which is typically when stuff releases in this game. They do the weekly updates Tuesday nights, or Wednesday morning, technically, I guess. But that will be coming out, in a few days, and that's pretty cool, because this is honestly what I would consider to be one of the more, I guess, valuable Zenkai Awakenings that we could possibly have right now. We take a look at what her tags are. So she's on Girls tag, which otherwise known as Female Warriors, Androids, and Regen, and I guess technically Powerful Opponent, but I don't think she's gonna buff Powerful Opponent with her Zenkai ability. But all three of these tags desperately needs a blue unit, a strong blue unit. We can take a look at Regen real quick. The best blue unit on this team is who? Like who's even like the best blue unit? I mean, is it Bootanks? Is it Super Baby 2? Like, it's one of these two guys. It's not Slug. It's not this EX Skinny Boo. This team has like no blue units. So it's really good that this team is finally getting a blue unit. Honestly, if you take a look at a lot of the Japanese players, what they're using on their Regen teams, the best blue unit that they think belongs on this team is Namek Goku on the Regen team. That tells you how bad this team needs a blue unit. Then I'll take a look at Androids last. We'll take a look at Girls next. Girls, when was the last time they got a blue unit that was good? Was it Ribrianne? It might actually be Ribrianne. And what's funny about this is I believe Android 21 actually came out after Ribrianne. So this 21 might be the most recent blue Female Warriors unit. And she's getting Zenkai. That just tells you how bad this team is in terms of blue units, because there's no other options. I mean, Ribrianne was really good when she came out, but she's very outdated at this point. And now with the Androids team. This is a team that I think I have the least fun fighting against, because Zenkai 18 is so annoying to fight. Like, this character, if she gets you into a combo, you're basically losing a character guaranteed almost. So the fact that this team is also getting a very, very powerful blue, I assume she's gonna be very, very powerful. At least a Zenkai unit, right? Most Zenkai units are at least good. The fact that this team's also getting a blue unit that can fill in the gap, because if you take a look at the actual team that they're using right now, yellow 18, red Cell, green 16. Yellow 18 really wants a blue unit, because yeah, she can do decent damage against a lot of red units in the game, but you'd much rather have a partner with her that's a blue unit, and there's no one else to use here. Like, who are you going to use? Blue 13? You can use this blue 18? There's nobody else here. So the fact that she's getting a Zenkai right now is pretty good, especially when we take a look at what she does. So we're going to go through this. And stat-wise, she's not that great, because she's a free-to-play unit. And over like almost a year old at this point as well. So these stats are going to go way up. In terms of her event, I remember she was notoriously bad in terms of getting Z-power drops for her. Mine isn't even 14 stars. I think mine is like 9 or 10 stars, because at the time I didn't have the energy to get her done. I think it actually was a skip ticket problem as well. So yeah, dark ages of Legends, I guess you could say, where everyone was always starved for resources. Hopefully they revamp that or add a bunch more boost units, because that was horrible. But taking a look at her kit here. So main ability, 20% damage inflicted for 60 counts, very, very long time. So you probably want to just pop this right away. And then minus 30% to enemy sustained damage cut to allies for 60 counts. So this is a buff effect. well, technically attribute upgrade effect to allies. So all allies ignore enemy sustained damage. I believe she might be the only unit that does this. Like, it gives your allies an ability to ignore a portion of the enemy sustained damage cut. In terms of what I would like to see from an updated main ability, maybe 30% damage instead of 20. Honestly, 40? Like 35 maybe? 20 is very low. Yeah, it lasts for a while, but I don't know if you're really going to feel the effects of a 20% damage buff. So maybe like 30, 35, 40, probably something like that. Keep the 60 counts, that's long enough. Apply attribute upgrade. Honestly, bump this up to like 40 or 50. And then in addition to that, maybe she draws like a green card. Maybe she draws a blue card, gets key back. Honestly, the dream effect that she could get for her main ability is reducing sub count for allies. If she reduced sub count for allies by 5 counts, this would be an incredibly good main ability. But it wouldn't be broken, I would say. So that would be the ultimate thing you want to see from that. Okay, so her uniques are 20% of damage inflicted by allies for 20 counts when this character enters the battlefield. So this is interesting because it's not when she switches out, it's when she switches in. So she switches in, and you don't really want to immediately switch her out because that's just going to defeat the purpose of her switching in. But she is going to be giving this buff, and allies also counts herself, so she's also getting a 20% buff to herself. Applies the following effects to allies depending on their tags when this character is switched to standby. So yeah, I'm not going to read all this, but you can just take a look. So like we just said before, androids, girls, minus 20 special move arts cost, 30% of damage inflicted. So again, like I said, her with Android 18, she's giving a direct support buff to Android 18, and she's blue. So she's going to pair extremely well with 18. That's not good. Well, I say that's not good. It's not good for me because this is the unit in the game that I hate to fight the most, Android 18, because she, like I said, she just gets you into a combo and then you pretty much know somebody's going to die. Especially if you pair them up with 21, because this is definitely going to remain a problem. This one right here, girls. Transforming Warrior, this, and then regen, yeah. So obviously the purple 21 gets all these buffs because they are, well, she's also a member of all these tags. And in terms of what they could actually change for this, maybe instead of buffing or nerfing, well, they wouldn't nerf, but instead of buffing any of these effects themselves, the value of these effects, you just increase the duration, maybe from 15 to 20 counts. And then for this one, the only thing I want to see for this is, they're not going to do this, but you change this to, instead of enters, to leaves, or they keep enters and then they change this to like 25 counts. I think that would be good. And then Brilliant Mind, the following effects occur every time this character uses an arts card. This is like the debuff effects that she applies. So at all the current enemy, so this is inflicts enemy, not all enemies, so it's only the current one that switched in. 15% extra damage received, and then minus 15% to health restoration for 15 counts. I don't know if I'd change much about this because this is already a pretty powerful effect. You know what this character really wants? This character really wants card draw speed, because if she's stacking these debuffs on the enemies, she's going to want to use more cards to apply more debuffs. So I think somewhere within the 3rd or 4th unique ability, if they actually went down the path of giving her extra card draw speed, this character would be so ridiculous. Like, she's already supporting like one of the best units in the game. Her regen support is actually not bad. 50% key recovery is pretty underrated. She's buffing all allies just for free. So to give her card draw speed, like, she would be a very good unit in terms of stalling the fight and then stacking this, because keep in mind, this is also a sort of like indirect support ability, because she's giving the main, like the direct support ability with this and with all these things here, and this is sort of like debuffing the enemy, which again is an indirect supporting ability. So she's obviously mainly a support unit. That's why she's a support type. But card draw speed, I feel like, would sort of round out this unit and make her like one of those perfect units. And then on top of that, if she also got sub count reduction, like, she would potentially be one of the best support units in the game alongside Vados. So we'll see if that actually happens. But in terms of how they would buff this unique specifically, they would either do one of two things. They'd probably either make these 20% instead of 15, which I don't think is going to happen, or they increase this from 15 to 20, which I think is more likely, because it's not as an egregious change as buffing the actual effect itself. And then the special move, which is sort of like a frontal cone attack. It's sort of like Majin Buu's blue card. Photon Wave deals major explode damage and then destroys all of your enemy's special arts cards. So it destroys all of your opponent's green cards specifically. Honestly, they could just make this destroys all enemies' cards. I don't think that's too ridiculous. If you actually manage to land this, which honestly it's not too difficult to land it, but I mean, destroying all of your enemy's cards is really not that big of a deal. And then the green card is a like lunging forward attack. So she randomly draws 1 card on hit, and then she gets -5 to own strike or blast cost for 10 timer counts. Honestly, this is... So there's 2 things I would change to this. Number 1, I'd probably make this 15 timer counts, because 10 timer counts is eh. And then the second thing I'd do is I'd make this blast armor. That's it. I don't really think this needs to get super buffed because it is comboable with a lot of cards. It does draw you a card. This is similar to Metal Cooler's green card. And if we take a look at actual Metal Cooler himself, let me see if I can pull this up. Metal Cooler. This reminds me a lot of Metal Cooler's green card, and it's basically the same thing. He gets blast armor. He draws a strike card. He combos into other things. Like his green card is very similar to Android 21's, in my opinion. And blast armor, I think, would make this a lot better. And then in terms of what she would buff for her Zenkai ability, I'm thinking it's going to be either girls or androids. When I see Android 21, especially the non-evil version, she doesn't really strike me as a unit that is regen in like nature or oriented towards like the regeneration tag. So I don't think she's going to be buffing regen blue with her Zenkai ability. What I think she's going to do is... So let's just get rid of this for now. I think in terms of her character, she feels more like an android buffer or a girls buffer. I would be happy with either one. I think girls needs it more, just because androids already has a decent amount of Zenkai. They have 16, they have 18, they have the red cell. Well, this red cell is not really a great Zenkai unit, but they're a good bench for the reviving cell. Girls definitely needs the help way more than androids does. So if they want to go down that path about making her a girls blue Zenkai buffer, that's perfectly fine. But I personally feel like they're going to go with androids. They've shown that they don't really care about this girls tag, and I assume it's just because they don't sell. These characters don't sell as well as androids do. So I think they're going to go ahead and make her an androids buffer for blue. But I mean, I wouldn't be shocked or surprised at all if they did a girls buff. But that's pretty much it for this Android 21. Let me know down below what you guys think about her. Honestly, again, like I said earlier, one of the more valuable sparking characters we could see get is Zenkai at this point in the game, buffing 3 teams that really need the buff in terms of like the color that she is. So blue, right? Regen blue really needed. Regen or a blue android really needed, and then a blue female also really needed. So I think they're doing the right thing by giving this one a Zenkai. She might honestly affect the meta very, very heavily. We'll see how well they design her, but. Other than that, that is it. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next one.